Hi friends, this is Miss Madeline and I'm at the Grout Garden where we have some brand new raised beds built here. It is April, which means winter is over, and what time of year is it? It's spring. So many wonderful things happen in spring. The flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, the pollinators are coming out of hibernation. Another special thing about April is that this is the month when we celebrate Earth Day. This year, Earth Day is on April 22nd. Earth Day is a great opportunity to get out and enjoy Mother Earth, whether it's on a hike, maybe cleaning up your neighborhood, planting your garden, or just appreciating the beauty of nature. Today we are going to learn about some of the insects who help our garden, and then we are going to use some natural materials to make a little insect art project. Before we start our lesson, I wanted to share the sign language word for flower. Flower. To sign flower, bring your fingers together and put them by your nose on each side like this. Like you're smelling a flower. Let's try it together. Flower. I mentioned that today we are going to be learning about insects. So why did we just learn the sign for flower? How are insects and flowers connected? Flowers are the part of the plant that will eventually form seeds that will help new plants grow. But in order to do that, they need to get pollinated first. So what does it mean when a flower gets pollinated? Here is a flower called calendula, and you can see in the middle of the flower there's some yellow powdery stuff. That is called pollen. And when I put my finger in the middle of the flower, check it out, some of that yellow pollen has rubbed off onto my finger. So that's what happens when a bee or another pollinator visits a flower. They get pollen on their bodies, and then the next time they visit a flower, some of that pollen will drop off onto the next flower. Like that. Can you think of any other insects that might be a good pollinator? One might be a butterfly. They help pollinate flowers too. Here at the Grout Garden, we often see hummingbirds visiting these rosemary flowers. Hummingbirds are pollinators, but they're not insects, they're birds. So how do we know what makes an insect an insect? Insects have some special body parts that make them an insect. Let's look at a diagram of an insect like this butterfly to see what body parts it has. Wow, insects have a lot of body parts, but when you put them all together, they make a beautiful insect that can be very helpful to the garden. So we have a little song we can learn to help remember the insect body parts. This is helpful when you're outside and you see a creature. If it has these 6 legs, head, thorax, and abdomen, an exoskeleton, if it has all these things, then you know it's an insect and not something else like an 8-legged arachnid or a no-legged worm. As we notice each body part, we can also pretend that we have that insect body part. That will help us understand what it's like to be an insect. So first, the insect's main body is made up of 3 parts. The head, you can point to your own head, thorax, kind of like your chest, and abdomen down here by your belly. So every insect has a head, thorax, and abdomen. Head, thorax, abdomen. Great job! What else do insects have? Insects have 2 antennae. Can you make antennae? What do they use their antennae for? Right, insects' antennae help them sense the world around them. Next we have wings. Not all, but some insects have wings, and they will help them get around, especially when they're going from flower to flower if they're a pollinator. Can you practice having some big, beautiful butterfly wings? Ooh, good job. What color wings would you have if you were a butterfly? Next on our insect, we have the exoskeleton. Where's your skeleton? Right, your bones, your skeleton, are in the inside of your body. But on an insect, they wear their bones on their outside of their body. That's why it's called an exo, or outside, skeleton. So you can rub the outside of your body like this and pretend you have an exoskeleton. And lastly, insects have not 1, not 2, but 6 legs, usually 3 on each side. So you can practice by standing on one leg and saying 1, 2, 3, and stand on the other leg and say 4, 5, 6 to pretend that you have 6 legs instead of 2. Are you ready to learn the insect song? Okay, here it goes. It's to the tune of B-I-N-G-O, so you may already know that tune. Goes like this. I am an insect in the garden, and this is what I'm made of. 2 antennae, pair of wings, wrapped inside a skeleton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs, head, thorax, abdomen. Let's sing it again, and this time you try to sing along with the hand movements too. I am an insect in the garden, and this is what I'm made of. 2 antennae, pair of wings, wrapped inside a skeleton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs, head, thorax, abdomen. Good job! Thanks for singing along. Now that you know the insect body parts, it might be fun to look for these body parts the next time you go outside and see a creature. If it has 6 legs and an exoskeleton and antennae, it's probably an insect. But if you notice it has more or less than 6 legs, it's probably not an insect. So our activity for today is to practice putting together these insect body parts all into one complete insect. And we're going to do this in a kind of artistic way using natural materials that you could just find outside in your neighborhood or your backyard. So you'll need to gather some materials to represent the head, thorax, and abdomen of your insect, something to be the wings, the antenna, the 6 legs, and exoskeleton. So I'm going to look around the grout garden and see what I could find that can help me make my insect model. So here's what I found in the garden. I found some leaves, some blades of grass, a dried stick, and some wood chips. Now I'm going to put them together in the shape of a butterfly. Okay, I think I'm going to use the wood chips to be the head, thorax, and abdomen of my butterfly. There we go. And these cool leaves I'm going to use to be the wings. Like so. These guys I'm going to use as the antenna. And finally, I'm going to break these up into 6 pieces to use as the legs. There we go. Antenna, head, thorax, abdomen, wings, 6 legs. I'd love to see your insect model too. Feel free to send me a photo. You could even try building an insect model with edible items, like to make a snack from your kitchen, or household items like blankets and pillows. Thank you for joining me today to learn about insects and their important role as pollinators in our garden. I hope you get to see some pollinators next time you're out on a walk, and enjoy the springtime. See you next time.